Women fear many things in relationships. Some fear betrayal, some fear losing a man's interest, but above everything else, there are certain words, just a few words, that cut deeper than any action. And once you say them, you'll see a side of her you never expected. What I'm about to share is not theory, it's the reality hidden in female psychology. If you understand it, you'll stop being confused by her moods, by her sudden withdrawals, or by why she gets defensive when you touch a certain nerve. These words reveal everything about the insecurities she hides from you, and knowing them can completely change the way you approach women. Here's the truth. Women may act confident, they may smile, they may laugh, but every woman has silent fears she carries in her heart. Fears about whether she's enough, fears about whether you'll replace her, and fears about whether she's slowly losing her hold on you. And the moment you speak words that confirm those fears, her entire world shifts. Before we go deeper, let me pause for a second. If you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, hit that button right now. I promise you, the insights I'm sharing here will make you see women in a way most men never will. And if you want to finally understand female psychology instead of guessing, subscribing will keep you from missing out. Now, let's dive in. The first set of words women deeply fear aren't harsh, angry, or insulting. Ironically, they're words that carry distance. Something as simple as, "I don't feel the same anymore," or "I'm not sure about us," terrifies her. Why? Because deep down, women fear rejection far more than men admit. She may act strong, but those words signal abandonment. To her, it's not just about losing you, it's about losing her identity as the woman who was chosen. Think about it. For a man, rejection stings, but for a woman, rejection can feel like proof that she wasn't good enough. That's why those words create a storm inside her. If she hears you say them or even hints of them, suddenly she starts questioning her looks, her value, and her role in your life. Now here's the second kind of words she dreads. And this might surprise you. It's not anger, it's not shouting, it's indifference. When a man looks at her and calmly says, "Do what you want," or "I don't care anymore," that shakes her to her core. Because it's not anger that scares her, it's the idea that you've stopped feeling altogether. Anger means you still care. Indifference means you've already left emotionally. That's the power of these words. They slice deeper than fights ever could. Women fear indifference more than rage because indifference means the end. But here's where the psychology gets fascinating. Sometimes women will test you just to see if you'll say these words. They might push you, provoke you, or accuse you of things. Not because they want you gone, but because they're terrified of hearing confirmation that you're already slipping away. They create the test to reassure themselves that you won't fail it. But when you do, and you speak those words, their worst nightmare comes alive. Now let's turn to another hidden fear. Words that question her femininity. A simple phrase like, "You're acting just like a man," or "You're not like other women," can be devastating. At first, you might think it's harmless, even playful. But deep down, every woman wants to feel seen, desired, and appreciated as a woman. When you say words that strip that away, even casually, it triggers a deep insecurity she might never admit out loud. And let's not forget the fear of replacement. Words like, "She understands me better," or "Maybe we're not a match," open up wounds that take years to close. Because whether she admits it or not, most women secretly fear being replaced by someone younger, more attractive, or more exciting. It's not about logic, it's about psychology. And the moment you speak words that suggest she's not enough, the fear becomes reality in her mind. But here's the part that most men miss. Women don't just fear these words because of you. They fear them because of what they mean about themselves. To her, it's not just about a relationship ending. It's about everything she thought she was being questioned. Her beauty, her worth, her ability to be loved. That's why women never forget when men say these things. They carry it for years, sometimes for life. And here's where the paradox lies. Women will often act strong on the outside when they hear these words. She'll roll her eyes, she'll shrug, she'll say, "Fine, do what you want." But inside, she's spiraling. Her mind is racing with doubts, questions, and fears that she'll never fully share with you. That's why men who understand female psychology are so rare. Because they don't take women's words at face value. They look deeper, they see the hidden fear, and they realize the impact of what's being said. Now, if you've ever wondered why a woman suddenly turns cold, why she suddenly pulls back, or why she seems defensive for no reason, chances are, at some point, you touched one of these nerves. Maybe you didn't even realize it. Maybe it slipped out in a heated argument, or maybe you said it in passing. But to her, those words echoed in her head long after the conversation ended. And this is why so many men lose good women without even realizing what happened. It's not always about cheating or betrayal. Sometimes it's about the silent damage caused by a few careless words, words that a woman never forgets. Before we close this part, let me remind you again, if you're not subscribed, do it now. This channel is about uncovering truths men are never taught. If you've ever wanted the upper hand in relationships, it starts with understanding the power of words. Don't just watch and move on, subscribe and keep learning. Because in part 2, we're going even deeper. I'm going to reveal the final set of words that women fear the most. And these are the ones no one talks about, but they explain exactly why women sometimes break down, lash out, or even walk away without warning. Stick with me. This is where the psychology gets truly revealing. There are certain words you can say to a woman that she will carry with her for the rest of her life. Even if she forgives you, even if she smiles the next day, those words stay in the back of her mind like an old scar. And sometimes they resurface at the worst possible moment. We've already uncovered how words of rejection and indifference shake a woman to her core. But now, let's go even deeper. Let's talk about the final category of words that every woman dreads. And these are the ones no man ever talks about. These are the words that strike at her deepest fears. The fear of being forgotten, the fear of being compared, and the fear of losing her place in your heart forever. Now pause for a second. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Every video here is designed to give you an edge most men will never have. And if you don't subscribe, you'll miss the psychology that could save you from losing a woman without ever knowing why. So hit that button. It only takes a second. Now let's continue. The next kind of words women fear are comparisons. Something as simple as, "my ex used to," or "other women don't act like this." It may not sound like much to you, but to her it's devastating. Why? Because comparison is the silent killer of intimacy. It tells her she's not unique, that she's replaceable, and that someone else already did it better. And women cannot stand the idea of being second best. That's why those words sting more than you realize. They don't just say, "you're not enough right now." They whisper, "you'll never be enough." And that's the kind of wound that lingers long after the argument is over. But let's take it a step further. Do you know what words women fear almost as much as betrayal? Words that suggest she's invisible. When a man says, "I didn't even notice," or "you don't matter that much," it feels like erasure. Because every woman wants to feel seen. She may not say it, but attention, acknowledgement, and recognition mean the world to her. And when you use words that dismiss her effort, her beauty, or her role in your life, it crushes her spirit. Now here's the fascinating part. Women rarely admit these fears out loud. If you ask her directly, she'll tell you she's fine, she doesn't care, or that your words don't affect her. But her actions will tell you the truth. She'll grow colder. She'll withdraw. She'll start giving you the silent treatment. Not because she's playing games, but because she's protecting herself from the words that already wounded her. Another fear every woman carries, though she may never admit it, is the fear of being taken for granted. Words like, "you always nag," or "you never do enough," hit her hard. Because in her mind, She's already giving, already sacrificing, already doing everything she can to be the woman you want. And when you say those words, it feels like nothing she does will ever be enough. That hopelessness is what terrifies her. But let's get to the most powerful and the most dangerous words of all. Words that women fear more than anything else. And they're not dramatic. They're not even loud. They're simple phrases like, "I don't love you anymore. I regret being with you." Or the coldest of them all, "I never loved you." These words can destroy a woman more than betrayal ever could. Because betrayal at least says there was love once. But those words, they erase the entire history. They make her question every memory, every kiss, every moment you ever shared. It turns her whole past into a lie. And that's a fear women carry deep inside. The fear that the love she believed in was never real. That's why arguments escalate so quickly. That's why women sometimes break down over just words. Because to her, words aren't just sounds. They're confirmation or denial of her entire worth in your eyes. Now you might be asking yourself, what does this mean for me as a man? Should I walk on eggshells? Should I never say anything? No. The truth is, it's not about silence. It's about awareness. A strong man knows the weight of his words. He doesn't throw them carelessly in anger. He understands that words can wound deeper than actions. And once you see this, you gain an advantage most men never will. You gain the ability to communicate with power without causing damage you can't undo. Because here's the reality, women will always remember how you made them feel. Years later, she may forget the details of the fight, but she will remember the words that cut her deepest. And she will also remember the words that made her feel safe, valued, and irreplaceable. So, as a man, the choice is always yours. Do you use your words to destroy trust or to build it? To trigger her fears or to calm them? That's where true power lies. And now I want to leave you with this. If you've ever lost a woman and you couldn't understand why, if you've ever been confused by her sudden distance, or if you've ever felt like she's carrying wounds you can't see, chances are words played a bigger role than you realized. It's not always about what you did. It's about what you said. Before we wrap up, let me remind you one last time. If you're not subscribed, this is the moment to do it. Every week, I'm revealing truths about women that most men never even notice. And if you don't hit that subscribe button, you'll keep repeating the same mistakes without even knowing it. Don't let that happen. Subscribe right now and take control of your relationships. Because the words you use with a woman can either become the chains that hold her fears together or the key that unlocks her love for you forever.